becomes the mandatory challenger for the WBA world title, but more impressively, how do you look good, that good, after a fight like that? Sponsored by Gucci. Danny, over to you to say a few words.
Oh. Well, first off, tough customer in Sulecki, undefeated. My thing is, being that I've called out these top names, I can't get those top names when I want them. Go down a list of great contenders. He showed tonight that he had true grit. He showed tonight that he belonged. And however you want to grade the performance, the crowd definitely enjoyed it. And ultimately, that's what it's about. So I'm happy with my performance, and I look forward to bigger and better things. Thank you.
To the floor, guys, for questions.
You said after the fight that you were able to knock him down in between punches. What was different in that moment versus the other 11 rounds?
Well, my trainer said I set it up with the jab, and that's kind of what we abandoned. Going into the fight, I knew I had to look impressive, and I was wanting to get the knockout. But he was a tough, verbal guy. You know, sometimes you got to set it up, you got to take your time. And in the later rounds, both of us was a little bit more tired, and I caught him perfectly. But it was all set up from the jab, and I know going forward that I can't really abandon my jab as much as my trainer told me to, you know, implement it inside that ring. So going forward, I'm looking forward to bigger and better things and fixing mistakes every time out.
Daniel over here on the right. You said in the ring that you were confident going to the 12th that you were ahead and so you could go for the knockout there. But there had been a lot of ebb and flow in the middle rounds. He kind of found his punching range. At the end of 10 rounds, it seemed like you had a different sense of urgency in the 11th and 12th. Did you feel anything there like you had to step it up?
No, I just wanted to finish strong. You know, like I said, I keep a dialogue with my trainers inside the corner, and every round they let me know I was up, and every round that maybe was a little toss-up, he let me know I could have done better. So going into the later rounds, the championship rounds, I mean, ultimately what I was thinking was just to give these fans a great show with a bang out. And that's really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to stand toe-to-toe, try my best to get the knockout.
And you were able to absorb some hard shots from Sulecki, but how'd you find that opening in the last 2 rounds to connect on that knockdown and finish with some strong uppercuts?
Well, you know, in boxing, sometimes if you just take a second, things will slow down. And you're able to see a lot more openings. And I think the urgency that I had going in there, try to knock him out, I really had to pace myself a little bit more. And once we set up the jab, and he was working on inside the gym, throwing our hands slanted, because we knew he was a taller guy, and he throws the 1-2 effectively. That's how he stops Centeno. So I knew that if I can put a little angle on it, especially behind the jab with a little bit more force, you know, we would get a great shot at knocking him out. But he got up and he showed grit, man. I love it. I mean, all these guys have nothing but, they're known for bringing it. Nothing but respect to him. And like I said, I look forward to bigger and better things in the future.
Danny Jacobs, Coach Anthony over here with Behind the Gloves.
What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing? You look very good tonight. Everybody obviously, you know, wants to see maybe the Charlo fight or Triple G or one of these guys again. But now that we got Eddie Hearn here, how about Billy Joe Saunders, man? What's up with a fight with you and Billy Joe?
It's something that I've been pushing for a very long time, but I think he's been using his promoter. I think Eddie and him got a little beef, something like that. I don't know.
What's up with that, Eddie? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I don't know too much about it, but...
Yeah, I think that the main issue is that Billy Joe Saunders is not really known over here in the US, and it's very difficult. If he's going to come to the US, the money he's going to want to fight Danny Jacobs. He's going to price himself out of the fight. So, but the thing is with the middleweight division right now, Billy Joe's been waiting for Gennady Golovkin for a long time, and now obviously the May 5th's not happening, September the 15th's happening. So Billy Joe's going to miss out on that big fight again, and there isn't really anyone else out there for him to fight. So I think the most impressive thing that Danny's done is he's fought 2 guys where he hasn't got a lot to gain in those fights, but they have everything to gain. You know, the first one, an undefeated fighter against Arias. This one, a much better fighter than Arias in Sulecki. You know, and he's come through, so he's proved his worth. He's the one going out there fighting the undefeated guys, and now he must have a marquee fight next because he will rise and box even better against the better fighters. And you know, I think it's very important that he fights a Charlo, Golovkin, Derenchenko,
How about Danny going to the UK to fight Billy Joe?
Oh, I would love to fight him in his own backyard. I'm that confident.
They can definitely make us an offer,
Yeah.
or we can put a show on. But again, you know, we're proud of the deal we've done with Danny, and also the fact that he's doing extremely well over here, and he has HBO backing him, and they've backed him in 2 fights, and now they want, along with us, the big one. You know, we came to HBO to fight Gennady Golovkin or Canelo. Since then, the division has split and opened up a little bit, so there are big marquee fights out there for him outside of those 2. But you know, again, it's really on the network to deliver the fights that we came for, and that's Gennady Golovkin and Canelo. So obviously it slowed down a little bit in that process, but you know, it was a great atmosphere tonight. Danny entertained the crowd, and I feel that next time we're back here, you know, the crowd's going to be even bigger. And if it's a marquee name rather than a guy that no one's heard of before, with all due respect to Sulecki, even though he's a great fighter, he's going to do very, very well.
Danny, Andy Emilio, ES News, man, congratulations with the win. I just really, I was talking about it with Chris earlier in the week. He was telling me how you guys would like text and send YouTube videos, like the old Archie Moore stuff. So just from the boxing perspective, getting into your boxing mind a little bit, was it a little bit experimental in the ring? Because I thought with the Archie Moore, the cross guard defense, and you turning southpaw, do you think that you really just used this fight as kind of a test to bring out some new tools in your arsenal? And
absolutely,
okay.
100%. I definitely think in boxing, you know, sometimes you got to try new things, and I'm a student of the game. I love to learn different things. I love to apply different things inside the ring, not just in sparring matches, but in actual match. I know that he wasn't the biggest power puncher, so there's several risks that I can take with trying to learn different things. And ultimately, when I fight those bigger names or bigger punchers, then you know, hopefully I've had enough experience to be able to implement those things sufficiently.
Danny, Keith Heide from BoxingScene.com. What are your thoughts on the possibility, if the IBF strips Golovkin of his title, of possibly fighting Derevyanchenko, who obviously have a close relationship with, and Andre, of course, trains?
I have no idea. I leave that up to my team. Obviously, we want the big names. With all due respect to Derevyanchenko, we want to have those opportunities. He's like family. He's a part of our stable. So it would definitely take a lot. But at the end of the day, you know, we have bigger names, the green belts, and you know, just ultimately the big names. That's really truly what we want. And obviously, me and Charlo got a little thing going on, so that's something that, you know, I'm trying to pursue as well. But if the opportunity presents itself and it's the only opportunity, you know, I have to think long and hard about that.
All right. James Bell with the Boxing Source. We talked a little bit after the press conferences as far as like how Sulecki would approach the fight and that he may give you a little bit more openings. Were you surprised a little bit about like how he was able to move around the ring and in and out of the pocket, especially in the first few rounds?
Well, not necessarily. I just think that I didn't really want to go in there and box him because I realized that when I was going side to side and I was using my jab and using my skill, that he would, you know, fall off balance, that he would miss me, he would have to find me again. And I knew I could win that fight like that each and every round, but I didn't want to fight that fight. I wanted to knock him out and, you know, show a message to the world. And he wasn't successful doing that, but in the end result, we still had a great show, and that's really what it's about.
Andre Rosier, Danny Jacobs seemed to
Rosier, he said Rosier.
That's the British thing.
Danny Jacobs seemed clear up on the scorecards. Was you a bit worried when he seemed to press the fight to sort of impose himself on the crowd a little bit when he could have shut up and maybe stood on the top?
Well, no, we have viewed many a tape on Sulecki, and actually we noticed that when pressure was applied to him, that he would have negative responses. And that's what we were actually looking for. Behind the jab, and for Danny to go downstairs to the body. And as you saw in the bout, every time Danny pressured Sulecki and threw wonderful body shots, the reaction was just what we were looking for. We needed a little bit more of that, but I had to settle Danny down a bit because he was hungry for a knockout. It's almost like the shark in blood saturated waters. You can't stop it because they want it so bad, but we had to settle him down and get him to work the way he was supposed to. As in the 12th round, where that beautiful knockdown came from almost a lack of effort. He didn't try, and it floated way across that ring and to Sulecki's chin, and you saw what the end result was.
What would you like to see him do next as a trainer? What would you like to prepare him for?
Well, I mean, we have a date with Destiny against Golovkin. I would love to have that rematch. I thought Danny did enough to win the first fight, and I think he deserves another shot at the title, another crack at reform and to get revenge for a very, very, very close bout. If not, then there's a grudge match with Charlo. He's been talking a good one. And as Eddie said so eloquently about losing his soul in the basement of the Barclays Center, whatever is at the top of the mountain, that's where we want to climb.
You've had disputes and past moments with Billy Joe Saunders, with your fighter Avadil Katidze. Are you prepared to put Jacobs in that sort of situation?
Well, actually, the first dispute that Billy Joe and I had was because of Danny. And I told him, I said, well, I heard you mouthing off about my son. And he says, your son? He says, I'll whoop your ass with your son. And that's when it all started. But, I mean, it was a lot of entertainment banter. After it was all over, he actually came over and hugged me and said, Coach, you know, it's just for the cameras. I really have a lot of respect for you. But I would love for Danny to fight Billy Joe. I really would. I think it would be a very entertaining and tactical bout. Billy Joe is a very good boxer, and he's a good southpaw. So it will be an interesting bout, and I think it'll be highly entertaining, and I hope we can make it happen.
Danny, firstly, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
You're in a great gym, and you've got a lot of top fighters in your gym. How do they help you prepare for the fights, and do they really push you on, like of Saddam Ali? You've got Richard Comey now in your gym. Are they really helping you progress, and will those type of fighters make a difference in the long term?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the energy and the vibe inside the gym, with all us top elite athletes, it's just an energy that, you know, you vibe off each other. And that's how I actually got better as an amateur. I had chin checkers, I had Louis Collazo, chin checkers is Jadon Condriton and Curtis Stevens, if you didn't know. But I had those guys, so many different guys that I looked up to, but we all shared the same gym. And that's exactly how we got better, vibing off each other, learning off each other. And it's the same vibe with all us, including the Russians that we have. I mean, we have a list of world-class caliber guys, and I think it makes us all better.
Brilliant, thank you. And just, there's been a lot of names, you know, touted around tonight. Is there one name you'd like next?
Charlo.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah.
Last question, guys, if you got one.
So I was a little upset today. Reason was because Brooklyn didn't come out like Brooklyn needed to come out for you. You're a Brooklyn guy. Last week, the place was packed. This place was packed. What do you have to say about the fans that didn't come out necessarily to see you? Because you put on a great show. Miller put on a great show. I wanted to see this place packed like it was last week. I want to see you make a lot of money with this man.
Thank you. Just to confirm, he made a lot of money.
Say that again?
He made a lot of money tonight.
Good. That's what I want to
It wasn't gate related. So Keith's done a great job for that.
But in all seriousness, Danny, do you want more support from your Brooklyn people?
I don't necessarily look at it as lack of support. I just think with an opponent that I had, he wasn't the most recognized guy, but I do think that someone who's highly recognized as a threat, with 50-50 fight in most opinions, I think those would sell out the crowd and bring the Brooklyn fans in, because at the end of the day, you know, guys, people, the fans who pay their money want to see great shows. So if they're not coming out, it's because they, you know, maybe they don't know who this guy is and they're not expecting him to bring it. I mean, let's just face it, a lot of people were expecting me to go in there and knock this guy out. The fans who did show up got a great show. And then people watching it on HBO also got a chance to see a great show. But at the end of the day, you know, it's progression. I'm climbing that ladder. You know, I can't force people to come out, but all I can do is try to perform well so that the next time out, you know, the buzz could be going. You seen that last performance from Jacobs? You know, next time we're going, I'm gonna support him. And hopefully by that time we'll sell out the Barclay. But, you know, it's all love. Brooklyn spread love. And that's exactly what we're gonna do in the future. I look forward to being back here at the Barclay and, you know, performing against an elite caliber guy. We took this guy's O, just like we took the last guy's O, and we're not gonna fight, you know, we're not gonna cherry pick. We're not gonna go down the line of what I call scrubs. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure the fans are happy, so that's all I can ask for.
I'm happy.
Last one.
That's why I asked you, you know, you've had experience trying to make deals with Al Haymon's fighters. You know, he said the one name that he wants is Jamal Charlo. How confident are you that you could deliver that?
It's all about money. It's all about sitting down and looking at the financials. Danny Jacobs is ready for that fight. We know we'd have a deal with Danny Jacobs to make that fight. And then we'll sit down with Al and talk about the Charlo fight. Obviously, you've got Danny's on HBO, Charlo's been boxing on Showtime, so it's always difficult. But you know, it's a fight where both guys will make a lot of money. It's a fight that would sell out the Barclays in a heartbeat. And just to say what Danny said, you know, he's right. You know, when you're fighting guys like Sulecki, you're not going to fill the Barclays Centre because you're just expected to win, and no one knows about Sulecki. You know, you fight Charlo, you sell out the Barclays Centre in a heartbeat. So you need a dance partner sometimes to, you know, to fill these great arenas. But you know, the crowd was good tonight. The atmosphere was great. Everybody left with a smile on their face. Everyone got value for money, and that's what it's all about as a promoter. So, you know, making fights is easy if both guys want to fight. And Danny Jacobs now wants to fight an elite name. So any of those guys we put in front of him, we know he's going to be first to sign a dotted line. If the others want to play, then we're good to go. All right. Thank you guys. Well done, Danny Jacobs.